We need to clean the mess that we have produced on land and on the ocean. It takes time, but we need a strong treaty, and we will get there. We cannot live without it.
Right now, we're overwhelmed with news every day about how our system is collapsing, international law is collapsing, there's crisis after crisis, and it can feel really daunting. We have decided to take some experts on global problems and the solutions to those problems around in Switzerland to talk about what are the solutions and how can we solve these problems right now. I'm Beatrice Fihn. Welcome to Summit Talk. So we're here in Moléson by Gruyères. We are about to do a hike with Luis Vayas Valdivieso. He's the chair of the treaty negotiations on the plastic treaty. So I just thought it would be really interesting to hear from Luis, is it possible to solve plastic pollution with the treaty? Hi.
Hello, Beatrice. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Luis.
Finally, we meet in person.
We're gonna go for a hike up the mountain today. Spend some time talking about the plastics treaty and your work.
It is so important because plastic pollution is really literally killing us, destroying nature, destroying human health, and we need not only to combat plastic pollution, but to end plastic pollution. That's our goal.
If you think Luis is being too dramatic right from the start, let me give you some numbers. The world now produces over 400 million metric tons of plastics each year. And only about 9% of all plastic waste ever produced gets recycled. And the rest, well, it ends up rotting in landfills, burned or lost in nature. Between 8 and 12 million metric tons of plastic waste enter the ocean every year, harming marine ecosystems and spreading microplastics worldwide. If nothing changes, that annual flow is projected to nearly triple to 29 million metric tons by 2040.
All right.
You're Ecuadorian? Born in Ecuador?
Yes, I was born in Ecuador. Actually, I was born in the mountains of Ecuador, in the Andes. My father, he was a medical doctor. My mother was a secretary, but, we were 7 children.
Did you ever think when you were growing up that you would live around the world? Was that sort of a possibility?
Not really. So all my life, when I was a student in school, I wanted to be an engineer. I love mathematics, love physics. But then I went to the US in '84. And then I went back to Ecuador with completely different idea. Yeah. I remember I told my father, I don't want to be an engineer anymore. I want to be a lawyer. Yeah. Then I applied to the diplomatic academy in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and became a diplomat.
See how we have the view.
Oh wow!
I think when you travel around, you sort of kind of giggle that it's so postcard, idyllic, that it's almost like, is it real? I don't know if you've seen that Switzerland's not real. There's a Reddit forum that's called Switzerland's not real, where people post pictures of Switzerland being just so ridiculously beautiful that it feels AI, like a fake. Do you want some chocolate?
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right.
Does it help you in your work to spend time in nature?
I love, before, when I had more time, run not every morning but every other day.
Yeah.
And I work much better.
Yeah. Maybe we should take more groups of diplomats out on hikes.
Yes.
What made you interested in plastic pollution as a topic? Did it come through the portfolio and you just kind of got wrapped, or was it something that you had thought about before?
I always like environment aspects and talking about climate change and biodiversity laws. Also, Ecuador is being affected. And I say, we haven't done anything about it. It's the opportunity to talk about the need of an international legally binding instrument, because we create this chat, and the Minister of Environment was there, the Minister of Foreign Affairs was there too, and in the chat they say, yes, go ahead, say it. Tell you, it was the very beginning. I say, well, we need something, but we need to start talking about it.
Okay, stop. Here, a quick recap about this treaty would probably be helpful. The negotiations of a global plastics treaty officially launched in 2022 in Nairobi. And since then, governments have held 5 rounds of talks to develop the treaty. in Punta del Este, Paris, Nairobi, Ottawa, and Busan. And in 2025, delegates met in Geneva hoping to finally conclude the agreement. A large majority wanted to agree on an ambitious deal, but a small group of oil and plastic producing countries blocked a final text. Today, the world is still waiting for countries to finish the job, hopefully at the next round of talks.
What I have seen, is that in Easter Island, that is far away from civilization. Actually, it's in the middle of the ocean, in the Pacific. Microplastics. We try to filter the sand and get the microplastic, but you go deeper and you still find microplastics. We became 1.5 years ago grandparents.
Yeah.
I was in a workshop with scientists, and then I learned that it is changing our DNA.
I need more things to be worried about. It's so much.
Yes. So it's not that we are polluting our nature only, it's that we are already compromising the bodies of our future generations already because we're changing our DNA.
It's not an issue that has been at the top of my sort of awareness.
We see a lot of sicknesses. We see a lot of different types of cancer. That allergy or that sickness in that organ is because of chemicals in plastics. I understand the frustration of scientists in this process, for instance, because they have the data. They have been saying this for years now.
Why is it taking so long for the UN to work on this?
Sometimes we thought that maybe it's not needed. The other could be misunderstanding that this is about plastics. Of course it's about plastic, but it is about plastic pollution.
Yeah.
We use between 15 or 16,000 chemicals in plastics. It is possible to have plastics without polluting the environment and human health. 10 chemicals will be enough.
Yeah.
And maybe those 10 chemicals are bad, but we will know how to treat them in the end.
I find that very helpful in order to think about it. We can't fix all the problems, but we can fix this.
I see, even though we haven't reached our agreement yet, things are changing.
Yeah.
Things are changing for good, and things are changing in the good way, in good direction, because people, once again, like we were talking before, gets to know it, gets to understand, and gets to respect.
Yeah. These problems are so global, and we have to work with so many different actors in so many different states.
Yes.
And I just haven't seen any other option for getting 190 governments on board than a treaty-making process. When you decided to do this, were you nervous about the responsibility? It's a lot of...
Yeah.
You're in charge of 190 governments agreeing. It must be a huge pressure.
Yes. I was nervous. I was also thinking, how to do it, with who to work, in this case, and who is your team going to be too. So you need a team, and you need to support, but the thing is, so a lot of questions, and also how to deal.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism in climbing a mountain.
Yes, it
and
is.
Negotiating a treaty. What are the top skills that you have to have if you're going to be able to share in negotiations?
I think an important skill is, after listening and trying to understand, and then it's important to try to put together those positions, those aspects.
So here we are.
All right.
We made it to the summit.
Wow. Wow, look at this.
Yeah.
And there's such a beautiful sky there. And the lake, the forest. This is amazing. So beautiful,
Yeah.
We were talking with Beatrice, but we should bring negotiators to places like this to preserve things like this,
It's kind of changed, starting with autumn down there and then up at winter here. This isn't the regular place where you have conversations about plastic pollution.
Today is quite a special day because I have stepped down from the chair's position.
Did you feel like you failed?
I feel frustrated. I did cry.
You recently presided over the negotiating conference that failed to agree on a final text, so we don't have a text.
We did get to a text, but it was a very difficult text. Time is pressure and plastic pollution doesn't stop, but we need also those strong rules to end plastic pollution, and we will get there.
I had such a nice time today learning more about this treaty and also to see the similarities. I think the topics might be very different than what I've worked on before, but at the end of the day, it's like we have these questions like, do we rather say no to a weak treaty and take longer time? Do we get everyone on board, or do we go with a smaller group? And also, like, I've learned so much about plastics today, which I think is really scary, but also to see how much work has been put in.
We need this, we cannot still live in nature like we are living with this pollution. We need this treaty. We need to regulate and we need to clean. We need to clean the mess that we have produced on land and on the ocean.
Do you feel like you should have done something differently?
Yes. In Geneva,
Yeah.
I should have released the first document, this common denominator document, 24 hours before I did.
Yeah. It's also really hard to keep a perspective when you're in the middle of it. It's going to be interesting to follow the process now. Do you feel a little bit of a sense of freedom now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so, yes. Yeah, now it's more time for my family, for my embassy work, yes, and that's important.
You've done an incredible job as well.
Oh, thank you.
With adoption or not, I mean, it's like you said earlier, like we've taken a massive step forward.
Yes.
And you should be proud of your work.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And
yes, I am proud of my team. I am proud of my family that has, not only support but encourage me to do this, and being also all the time behind. I love them. They are amazing.